Good morning. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair this year. Joining me today is Commissioner Bill Rippon. Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioner Aaron Mays. Good morning.
Good morning.
Also joining us is our county councilor, Mr. Eckert.
Good morning.
And our county clerk, Miss Beck, who keeps us on track.
I
So-
try. Well, I try.
Let's start us down the tracks. Miss Beck, what's on first?
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
Is there a motion or are there questions?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda. I'll second.
Motion to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
This morning, we have vouchers totaling $2,450,867.01. One thing worth noting on there is under the Sheriff's Department, $154,011 is to Shawnee Mission Ford. That is for 3 new Ford Pursuit Interceptor utility vehicles. Other than that, I don't have any questions, and I would move for approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Mays,
Second.
second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Health Department number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-150-2024 with the Kansas Department of Health and Environment for quantiferin QFT testing beginning May 1, 2024 through April 30, 2025.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carrie Delphs, Clinical Services Division Manager with the Health Department. This morning, we're asking for your approval to contract with KDHE for this QFT testing. This is a type of test that we do to screen for TB infection. So a lot of people are familiar with the TB skin test. This is a blood test that is recommended for certain populations. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Are there a lot of cases of TB within Shawnee County, or is this something that we're seeing an increase of, decrease, or stable?
We're about stable with our cases of active TB disease. This is really screening for infection, so kind of that first like baseline testing that we do. Depending on symptoms and some like past history, we may like look further into it to rule out an active case. But this is really kind of that first step.
Okay. Other questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Carrie. Our next item.
Item C, Parks and Recreation number 1, request approval to reclassify a current vacant aquatics recreation leader position to a recreation supervisor position, starting at range 15, step 1, at a cost of $68,440.75 annually, including benefits. This position will supervise Old Prairie Town and Ward Mead.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation Department. We've been trying to fill this this aquatics position for some time and have not had any success. And meanwhile, we're with the addition of Great Overland Station a few years ago, and we combined some duties there, and we're feeling like we would be better off if we had someone specifically assigned to Old Prairie Town and Ward Mead Botanical Gardens, and we think this will do that. We don't mention it in the memo, but the plan is to open this for internal candidates only, and we think if things work out the way we think they are, even though this is going to increase this job, this will increase. According to this memo, we're going to spend more money doing this, but in grand reality, we'll save some money before this is all said and done. So, with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Rippon, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item D, Public Works, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-151-2024 with Shawnee Rural Water District number 1 for water line relocations resulting from conflicts with the Public Works Road Improvement Project on Southwest Auburn Road between Southwest 29th and K4 Highway.
Good morning, Commissioners. As you know, we're in the middle of a project to design road improvements on Auburn Road between 29th Street and K4 Highway. As part of that project, we're also building a roundabout on 29th Street, which will be the primary entrance for the new USD 437 Middle School complex. Well, before you can start construction, there's two things that have to happen. You obviously have to, well, there's three things. You have to have a set of plans and specifications. Number two, you have to have any acquired easements purchased. In other words, you just can't build something on private property or someone else's property. And number three, you have to have utilities out of the way. And that brings us to the present, where I'm asking you to approve a contract with Consolidated Rural Water District number 1 so that they can get their water lines out of the way for our construction. As you can imagine, when you have a road corridor, you reconstruct the road, you may need a little slice of land on each side of that existing corridor, but if you build a roundabout, you need a significantly more land because the roundabout takes up quite a bit of space. So I would say that a good part of this cost is related to the cost of the roundabouts, but nevertheless, it applies to the whole project. $875,000 is just a rough estimate. We've asked that they charge us for actual costs only, so I'm hoping that it comes in significantly less than the $875,000. I look forward to your questions.
Does the rural water district, do they do their own work or do they contract this out?
I think they contract, yeah.
Okay.
And then, plus they have a third-party designer.
But that's not part of our project, I mean, as far as, I mean, I realize we pay for it, but it's not part of our contract with the contractor to.
No,
It's
that's all done prior to when we
They-
led the project.
So they're doing
Yeah.
it, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other questions?
Kurt, are these, so I know we had an anticipated budget for this project. Are these unexpected costs, or were these costs that we assumed that we would have and kind of built into that total package?
When I talked about a construction cost, that was strictly our construction costs. These are costs in excess of that, and they were anticipated. Maybe they're a little more than what I anticipated, but they were anticipated.
Okay. Well, hopefully they come back less than this, so.
The school that they're building out there, is that on rural water or is that city water?
No, it's rural water. The city water ends just east of the project, and the school district chose to tap into rural water.
No other questions here?
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item D2, consider a request to reinstate 3 idle vacant positions that have been vacant 365 days or more as of April 1, 2024, and a request for a related personnel budget adjustment for the 2025 budget process.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. As per County Resolution 2024-19, paragraph 6, I'm here before you asking you to basically reinstate these positions for the 2025 budget process. As you can see there in my memo, they've been open significantly more than 365 days as of April 1. But I want to make it very clear to you that they've been open because of decisions that I have specifically made. These are Teamsters positions. If they come open, I have to allow internal applicants, meaning our people in public works that work in the field, I have to allow them to bid for these positions. I have 14 vacancies in our road maintenance positions. I don't want to siphon any more off than than necessary. So I have made a conscious decision not to fill these positions. That is the reason for the extended opening period. I would like to leave the positions, though, available for my use because we're working, HR, Department of HR and myself, we're working on some things that I hope will improve our prospects for hiring and retaining employees in those field positions. And I want to be able, if we hire enough people, then I want to be able to fill these positions at some point. So I hope that explanation is satisfactory. I look forward to your questions.
Questions?
Well, I've already talked to you at length about this.
Yes.
You know, and I have a lot more questions. And I think that it might be best, if you guys don't mind, if we defer action on this. Because I think I'd like to talk with Angela probably more about it, and then maybe talk with the union and figure out if there's a way that we could get a better way to get these filled. Or eliminate them, or create a different type of position that would allow us, you know, more flexibility to get the positions filled. Because I don't like having positions open for 3 years without the possibility of putting someone in that job. And so, I mean, if it's all right with you guys, I'd probably make a motion to defer action for 2 weeks.
Okay. Motion made by Commissioner Mays to defer this item for 2 weeks.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Then this will be then deferred until our meeting on May the 8th. Or no, sorry, May the 9th. So,
Thank you.
approved.
Thanks,
All-
Kurt.
So all in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E, solid waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotations for solid waste commercial containers with funding from the solid waste collections operational budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. These next two agenda items are very similar to each other than the type of containers that I'm asking for. Shawnee County Solid Waste is experiencing an influx of customers, both for my smaller commercial containers and my roll-off customers, to the point where we have to replenish our inventory of containers so they're available for our customers that call in. So this first item that Ms. Beck just read is for my commercial containers, also known as smaller dumpsters, and we're just looking to go out for quotations on this. And of course, this is 100% user fee funded with no tax dollars used. Subject to your questions.
Any questions? I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item E2, consider approval of request to issue a request for quotations for solid waste industrial containers with funding from the solid waste container operational budget.
Good morning,
Elections
Commissioner. Bill Sutton, Shawnee County Solid Waste. This is going for a request for quotations for roll-off containers from our 10-yard all the way up to our 40-yard container size. Subject to your questions.
Any questions? I'll make a motion for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Passes 3-0. Thank you, Bill. Our next item.
Item F, Commission Number 1, acknowledge Ellen Rydland resigning as the Minokan Township trustee following the Township May 15th meeting.
We have received written notification from Mr. Riblin that he is going to be relocating outside of his district, and so he is needing to resign from the Minokan Township. I would like to thank Alan for his service. Ms. Beck, as far as the filling of this position, is this one that we would just take applications for? Or
Yeah,
is
you
this,
just put, I just put the,
okay, again,
just your normal announcement, but you won't, I mean, you can take the thing, but you wouldn't, you wouldn't appoint, you could appoint if you have him here by on the 16th, but you couldn't appoint until, they couldn't take position until after that meeting, the May 15th meeting.
I just wanted to distinguish this from the fire boards where they give their
Yes,
recommendation.
yeah.
So,
This is,
okay. So with that being then the case, we would take applications then until May the 13th.
You could just do your normal 2 weeks if you want.
Well,
You took, I
if-
mean, because even if you get the application, and you still can't appoint until after the meeting. Or you can appoint, but they cannot be sworn in until after the 15th.
Okay. So do you want to say, take applications by May the 9th, and
That'd be
then,
fine.
and then take up the item on the agenda for May the 16th?
That would be fine.
Okay, all right. So, if anyone is residing within the Minokan Township and has an interest in serving as a trustee, we are taking applications for that position. And we would be taking applications up through May the 9th. And then on May the 16th, we will take that item up to discuss whether or not we need to extend that opening or appoint somebody to the Minokan Township on the 16th. So I would move to acknowledge the resignation at this time, though.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Look forward to getting those applications in for Minokan Township trustee. So, our next item.
Item 5, public comment.
Are there any persons in the public wishing to make comment? Seeing none, our next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. This is that official heads up. We got bad weather coming in today. Standard thunderstorms expected with high winds and hail. Tomorrow's a different story. Storm Prediction Center has put us in enhanced, which means there's pretty high confidence that we're going to see several rounds of storms up to and including tornadoes. And that goes into Saturday as well. So if you're planning anything, especially in the evening hours, the timing of these are late afternoon into the evening, please have a plan of where to go, take shelter, etc. If you are an event planner, please have those preparations in place and share that information, have a weather officer assigned so you can keep people informed. So with that, any questions?
Dusty,
Sure.
I know that there's a number of schools that are having proms this time of year. How does emergency management work with those high schools and places where you've got a lot of young people that are going to be out and after proms go until 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes?
This is exactly why I'm encouraging people to have a plan when they go out. Of course, we can't drill down to the individual personal plans, but we can encourage the participants to have a plan ready to go. Parents, be aware of where your kids are in these situations. Usually the schools are pretty on top of it. They do have the shelters and a plan ready to go as well. And they receive emails from us and the National Weather Service with those early indicators of maybe you should really pay attention if you're in this specific hazard area. So we do the best that we can to get information out and set the warning, of course. But there is that personal responsibility and organizational responsibility to help those shelters.
Okay,
Operations.
all right. Thank you.
Brian Cole, Department of Corrections. I guess I got here right at the right time. I guess my staff is correct that more things get done when I'm not here. So I just wanted to say that we have tomorrow our Project Topeka outing tomorrow at the jail from 11 or 10 o'clock to 2. In the lobby, this is one of our biggest Project Topeka fundraisers. It's an excellent menu with giant burritos or fish sandwiches. It's a tremendous meal. Please come by and share with us, and this all money goes to a great cause. So thank you.
All right.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Last week I came before you announcing that a bridge replacement project on Northwest 78th between Jennings and US 75 would start this past Monday. Well, the contractor chose to start this coming Monday, the 29th. So I just want to let everyone know Northwest 78th will be closed to through traffic between Jennings Road and US 75. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
Tim Laurent, Parks and Recreation. Just want to remind everybody, this is your last weekend to enjoy tulips at twilight at Old Prairie Town, Ward Mead Botanical Gardens. So hopefully the weather holds out and we get to do it. But last weekend, so if you haven't been out, please come out. Then I want to take a minute to recognize a distinguished volunteer. Jim George is here with us today. Jim, why don't you come on up? Jim, organized a group of volunteers to go in and clean up and restain all of the animals at Animal Land in Gage Park. And this isn't Jim's first go-around. I think he did this back in, was it 2015?
2015.
2015, yeah, sorry, 2015. So anyway, Jim, we just really appreciate your work. John Bell and Tom Hammer and Rob Rowe in our department, I think, were also involved in help coordinating. But really, Jim did all the heavy lifting, and we just want to thank him publicly for everything that he's done and allow him to say a few words.
Well, I'd like to take all the credit, but I really can't. Both 2015 and now, we had dedicated groups of volunteers that love Animal Land as much as I love Animal Land that came forward and they helped with this project. I supervised. I did a few of them. You know, I got in there and got dirty with the rest of them. But if it hadn't been for the volunteers, we could not have got this done. In 2015, we had to strip years and years of paint off of these, which paint, they should never be painted. They should always be stained. And that took 6 weeks to do. This time around, we didn't have strip paint. We just had to get them clean and restain them, so it only took us 3 weeks to do it. But the point is that it could not have been done in the time frame that was done both times without the volunteers rolling up their sleeves and saying, hey, we're gonna get in here, we're gonna get dirty, and we're gonna get this done. So my thanks go to the volunteers. And I think that's where the thanks really need to go, is not to me, but to the volunteers.
Jim, I want to thank you for your work, the organization of the volunteers. I know there's a lot of kids that this is a special memory for them and their families, for Animal Land, and it's a lot of dedication from volunteers just like yourself that make this a special place, and so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely labor of love. I saw these installed when I was a kid. I have been part of that ever since I was this tall. So I know exactly what's underneath that concrete. I know exactly how they were installed. I can even tell you which ones were installed when. So I have a very close connection to this, and it's definitely a labor of love.
So we just want to thank you for all of your help and artistic abilities, and so thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Commissioner Mays?
Yeah.
Mr. George, I think Commissioner Mays wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I've been following this on social media. I think it's great. You know, I played on these when I was a kid. I think this is it's a special playground. I mean, there's nothing like it out there. It's so unique to Topeka and Gage Park. But I also think it's cool that, you know, the reason, if I remember correctly, the reason that you did this in 2015 is because they had all been vandalized. Was the catalyst behind kind of the movement. Is that not correct, or?
Let me correct.
Yeah.
So I had left Topeka when I was 15 years old, back in 1972. I was gone for 40 some odd years and decided to come back home again. I came back home in 2013. One of the very first things I did when I came back home was visit all my childhood haunts. I went to Children's Park and discovered that the elephant slide was in horrible, horrible condition. So I contacted Parks and said, hey, can I go in there and repaint this, make it look good again? And I not only did that one, but I did one over in Ward Parkway Park too, which is no longer there, it's been taken out. I got contacted and said, would you be interested in doing Animal Land? I said, yes. I had gone out there and I saw all this paint on these statues and they looked horrible. And I said, yeah, I would enjoy doing that, definitely enjoy doing that. They had not really, there was a little bit of graffiti on them, but there was not a lot of graffiti at that time. During the process of stripping off the paint and getting them clean and ready to go, somebody decided to come in and graffiti them. And we cleaned off the graffiti and continued on with the work, and then the next weekend they did it again. So the last 3 weekends that we were out there, I actually pulled my car up into the center of Animal Land, and I sat out there all night long to make sure that these were not graffitied again. So the main graffiti, the big graffiti, the nasty stuff, took place while we were still working on them.
but we were able to get it cleaned off. We were able to get them stained, and fortunately, the only graffiti that has been on them since then is small stuff. There hasn't been anything major. So, and now I've informed John Bell how these can be taken care of in the future, how that graffiti can be easily cleaned off and the stain can be used to take care of them quickly. So we always have them looking as nice as they do right now.
That's great. Yeah, and they look brand new. I mean, they look like they were just done, so that's fantastic.
I was looking at the before pictures
Yeah.
before I came here. I went, oh yeah, we did do a good job. Thank you.
I want to thank you too for all your work and all your volunteers. And I think they look better than they ever have this time. They just look great. They, like Commissioner May said, they look new.
Yeah, they actually look the way they did when they were first installed. So
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Any other administrative communications? Seeing none, I guess Commissioner Mays,
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Commissioner Rippon.
I'm going to volunteer at Tulips at Twilight, and I do have an emergency plan. I'm going to work in a building with a basement. So I'm good. Yeah.
Well, this weekend, this Saturday, please come out to the Combat Air Museum. It is the celebrity pancake breakfast. It goes to a good cause, that being the Combat Air Museum. I know that all three commissioners will be there at differing times. Other officials without the community will be there. Come get your pancakes and your sausage and your orange juice. It's always an enjoyable morning to do.
These guys might be there too.
Yeah. WWW, you'll probably flip some pancakes too. It's the one time where we're actually allowed to flip the pancakes, and so. But otherwise, everybody be safe. Our next item.
Item 7, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session today. We have a need for executive session for preliminary discussions relating to the acquisition of real property. That will be for a period not to exceed 20 minutes. For consultation with the attorney for the body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and that would be for 25 minutes. And then personnel matters related to non-elected personnel, and that is for a department head evaluation, not to exceed 45 minutes. And let's say that we start at 9:30 or thereabouts, as close as we can, for an hour and 30 minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. No action is anticipated from the executive session. We are in executive session. We are back from executive session. No action was taken. We are adjourned.